House Minority Leader John Boehner, Republican leader from Ohio, with me now. And, sir, good morning to you.
Good morning, Bill.
Who's talking about jobs in Washington?
Well, unfortunately, we're not hearing anything out of the administration. We're not hearing anything out of the Democrat majority here in Congress. I've been asking the questions over the last 3 or 4 months. Where are the jobs? The president promised that if we passed the $1 trillion stimulus plan back in February, that unemployment would not exceed 8%. And here we are at almost 10%. 3 million Americans have lost their jobs since this $1 trillion stimulus bill was signed into law. And when you look at their bill, it was all about growing the size of government. It wasn't about creating jobs in America, but it has created about 25,000 new jobs in the federal government, mostly here in Washington.
And what the White House would say,
that's not helping the American people.
You know, what they would say would have been a lot worse without the stimulus. What is your view on that? And what is your view on what the president said yesterday? We are moving in the right direction. He was in Fairfax, Virginia, making that statement about the economy. Are we moving in the right direction?
Well, most Americans, I don't think, agree with it, because they're the ones asking me, where are the jobs? Because it's not just those 10% of Americans who are unemployed. That's the official statistic. When you begin to look at those who've given up looking for work, the real unemployment rate is probably 13 or 14%. And then you've got the other 85% of Americans worried about, am I next? And so instead of growing the size of government, Republicans had a plan last February that cost half as much as the Democrat plan, but would have created twice as many jobs, according to an analysis by the president's own chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors. And our plan would say, let's give the American people, American families and small businesses, let's let them keep more of what they earn. Because at the end of the day, until they have more money in their pockets, we're not going to see the economy begin to grow, and we're not going to see these unemployment numbers come down.
Do you get a sense that there's more support growing for that? I mean, tax relief? It's been shoved to the side for the past 8 or 9 months, but from my perspective in New York, it seems to be getting a little more pushed down there in Washington. True or not?
Well, we sent a letter to the president last week outlining some of our ideas about how to help small businesses and how to get our economy growing. We got a nice, polite letter back, rather dismissive from Larry Summers, but they did admit that some of these ideas are under review. And so I don't know what the White House is going to suggest, but if it's another stimulus plan that looked like the one they did back in February, I don't think it's going to work.
You mentioned, I don't mean to cut you off there,
and it's an admission that the first one didn't work.
That's interesting. You mentioned small businesses. This is what I hear from small business owners all across the country. They're looking at the administration's plans and they're trying to figure out what's in it for them. What's in it to help small businesses that employ the greater majority of people in America today. You're in the minority party right now. In many ways, you're fighting for oxygen down there. I mean, how can Republicans move the ball forward when it comes to either tax relief or finding help or relief for small business owners in America?
Well, Bill, you're right. You know, they've got a 40-vote majority here in the House. They've got a 20-vote majority in the Senate. Republicans really don't have the tools to legislate. But what we do have is we have our voices. And our job is to communicate with the American people about what's happening here in Washington, what it means to them, their family, their business, their community, and try to engage them in our effort. And the American people are speaking very loudly. Bill, I used to run a small business. I know what it takes to meet a payroll. And all the uncertainty that's out there in the current economy and the uncertainty around their national energy tax, their uncertainty around the government takeover of health care is causing employers to just sit on their hands because they don't know what the next shoe to drop is going to be. And so not only are we not doing anything to help small businesses create jobs, we're creating this uncertainty about what the future looks like, which I think is going to work in the opposite direction.
John Boehner, thank you for your time. And please come back soon. The House Minority Leader, we'll figure out whether or not you get the response you're looking for through Larry Summers and others. John Boehner, thanks.
Thanks, Bill.
You got it.
Thank you.
Allison.